Good Friday night, YouTube. It is Ty, your metalheaded weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys have had a good end to the work week for most of us. Some of us were still going on into the weekend, so that being said, you know what it is. Anyone that follows the channel that's followed the channel long enough, this is our weekend forecast. Of course, before I get into it, if you like what I'm doing with this channel, like help me get this algorithm up so we can get this out to more people. Like, comment, subscribe, share, etc. Just try to get this out to more people that may need it. It's ongoing severe weather right now in the plains pretty much from north to south. Multitude of severe thunderstorm warnings. One tornado warning from when I last checked. I think that still might be ongoing. But there's still an enhanced risk tonight. Yeah, it looks like I do see one tornado one. It's a very small little sliver right here. Mostly severe thunderstorm watches from what I can tell here. A lot of high wind warnings. But seems to be plenty of activity right now. Must be getting towards nighttime over there, so it's going to be really hard to see these storms. But anyway, we have a enhanced risk going into the overnight tonight, and then a slight risk for tomorrow, and then Sunday we have a marginal risk. We'll quickly go over these convective outlooks, and then we'll actually take a look at the temperature and what the forecast will look like for the temperature and what the radar could look like over the next 48 hours. Excuse me. So not much has changed here, really. The enhanced risk may have been trimmed a little bit further south. Includes a little excuse me, on something in my throat from what I ate a little bit earlier. So our enhanced risk looks like it's been trimmed back a little bit. So some of these more northern areas might have been in it in the last run. They aren't now. The threat area has kind of shifted back a little bit east. I do expect a line of storms to form late into the overnight, and this will be mainly a straight line wind and a large hail threat. Tornado threat isn't zero though. We do have a 5% region around the enhanced risk area, and then towards the back side of South Dakota we have a 5% chance of tornadoes. The rest of the area outlined in the green is a 2. So wind threat's pretty high. Not surprising to see the hatch risk pop up today. Jeez, I think I got a piece of potato chip in my throat. I'm sorry, guys. But we have a hatched risk of winds greater than 65 knots around Amarillo, stretching all the way into central Nebraska, just south of Valentine. Other areas included are Woodward. You're just on the line of that hatched risk. Garden City, Colby, Kansas, and McCook, Nebraska. Anyone that's in the yellow is in our 15% threat range, and then the brown is the 5% threat range. Same goes for the hail threat. Right around South Dakota, we were getting really good lapse rates from what we looked at last night on the in the last video. So this doesn't surprise me if there's a hatch risk here towards western South Dakota, and then in the enhanced risk we have a hatched risk for 2-inch hail or greater. So no surprises there. Let's take a quick look at tomorrow. There's a big area of severe weather stretching all the way through the better part of Minnesota. I actually got it right this time. I kept on trying to call the state Minneapolis. I kind of hesitated, but I've gotten better at it. So threats shifted further to the east. Omaha, Lincoln, Norfolk. Well, Norfolk, you're actually outside of it. Kansas City, Des Moines, La Crosse, Minneapolis, Grand Forks, all the way down into Oklahoma City, and even towards Wichita Falls, Texas. You got anywhere in between those points. You guys are in line for a slight risk of severe weather or marginal. Tornado threat isn't zero. We have 2 areas of 5%. They just probably recently added this part here up north towards Minnesota. I think that those lapse rates will continue to carry on as they move further to the east. So I think these mid-level lapse rates around here are going to be a key factor in what goes on with this tornado threat. I do think some embedded supercells and a line of storms are possible around Oklahoma City and Norman. That's just kind of the look I've been getting. Funny thing is, it doesn't really show up much on the forecast models. A lot of these storms are probably going to be isolated in nature, but I think this a dry line will probably develop and help assist this development, help assist these storms with further development. So we look at the wind threat. There's no hatched risk, which is a good thing. Some good news for everybody. I'm pretty sure a lot of us on the channel are even tired of seeing hatch risk. So our 15% wind threat in case is our slight risk area. Same thing from Grand Forks all the way down towards Wichita Falls, and then pretty much all the way to the Texas-Mexico border. We have a 5% chance of hail, and then all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border, there's a 5% chance of hail. So, well, wind, excuse me, and it's pretty much the same thing with the hail threat, so no surprises there. Then we have a marginal risk. This is, of course, for areas a little bit further to the east. We got Oklahoma City just sitting outside of this. This is more for Texas, eastern Missouri, southeastern Missouri, into Illinois and Indiana. Chicago, you're in play for this too. I do think that there is a chance for a slight risk to possibly emerge in the southern region of this marginal risk. We'll look into more details with that tomorrow. So but without further ado, let's take a look at the overall temperature outlook over the next 48 hours, and then we'll take a look at the radar. So we've been talking about it for over the last few days. Ridge to the east, everything's warm, pretty much past the Central Plains. To the west, to the southwest, things are very dry, and there have been a lot of active wildfires. In fact, there are 3 very large active wildfires that have popped up today. So if you guys are in any of the areas that are under a red flag warning or fire weather watch, please take it seriously, because a lot of people are paying the price right now. So we can I'm going to slow this down real quick. So we can see where our line of storms are clearly with this little gap here. Temperatures are really going to be shooting up into the northern states late in the day, and even into the Great Lakes region. Some areas could be talking about 70s and 80s. Detroit, you're getting up into the 50s, and those 70s aren't very far away. You wouldn't be surprised if you get 60 someday on this weekend. And there we go. Of course, around the southwest, things are warm still. Not much relief seeming to be in sight as far as the fire issues are concerned. And meanwhile, to the northwest, we still have cooler than average conditions, but things are starting to warm up a little bit. Be interesting to see how this unfolds later into the week. But I think for areas in these higher elevations, you guys can still not get away from the snow. So that being said, let's take a look at the reflectivity here. This is what the radar could look like over the next couple of days. Okay. And yes, today I'm using the HRRR because of how late things have ran into the day, because I had a family emergency I had to take care of. And I honestly thought I wasn't even going to make a video, but hey, here I am. We're using the HRRR because the name is actually updating. They're doing the OOZ run right now, but we have a 48-hour HRRR, so I had to pick my poison here, you know. So let's move this along, lower the loop speed, and then here we go. So north of the border, we got a little snowstorm setting up here, right around where this mid-level low is. Right on the backside of it, we have heavy snow around the Four Corners region. And then these same areas right now in eastern South Dakota that are getting severe weather are going to be getting snow come tomorrow and into Sunday. Incredible. Truly it is. So see how this thing's swirling around. This is what kind of is also increasing the tornado threat. like I say, these little mid and upper level lows always have a little bit of a swell to them. So there's a little bit of added rotation and wind shear around these. That's why you got to watch areas like this really closely, because you get a cheeky little tornado threat, and a lot of people sleep on it. You can even see some freezing rain for areas in North Dakota on Saturday, right after the severe weather threat goes through. That's crazy. Meanwhile, in the Southwest, things remain dry, remain warm, not helping our fire threat at all. Things around the northwest coast look like they're quiet for the weekend. Southeast we're quiet, and in the in the eastern half of the country we look quiet. It's towards the Central Plains into the Ozarks and towards the Great Lakes region in the Ohio Valley. That's where our threat for severe weather is going to lie. So this looks like this little complex here. This this looks like an MCS. Not a very impressive one, but does look like there's going to be some, if not severe weather, there's definitely going to be some heavy rain and some training storms, so there will be a flood threat here. And then you kind of see this little other mid-level low just kind of hanging around, meandering. It's doing its part to feed a little bit more moisture into this storm system here. And I guess you can kind of say that these two might be phasing a little bit. I don't think that this will be a major deal for the weekend, but this could be a major deal come Monday and Tuesday this upcoming week. But we'll get into that when it's time, probably tomorrow or Sunday. But this is all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good weekend. Have a good start to the weekend. This has been Ty, your Metalhead Weatherman. Good night.